How's your morning going? It's early here. It's about 9:30 in UK, in Aberdeen. And I just thought I'll go live to quickly speak to you. I have just dropped my daughter off at the exam hall. So she has an important exam today, an exam called UCAT. It's an exam people they can get into medical school. So your score determines if you get a place in medical school. So she's taking the exam today. She'll be starting at 10. And honestly, the past few weeks have been tough. All we have heard about is I have exam, I have exam. She doesn't want to do anything else apart from getting this exam, practicing for her exam. We can barely get her to even eat. Just come and eat. Okay, go out, take a walk, get some fresh air. Just relax a bit. Young people put themselves under a lot of pressure. And one thing as a parent you have to is that you are not contributing to the pressure. I've never been the sort of typical African parent. You must, study, you must get all your scores. Oh, why didn't you? I've tried to tell my kids that their best is enough. I've always asked them, just do your best. If you do your best, that is enough. Your best is enough. I've said this to them like 1,000 times. Your best is enough. Just try your hardest. Satisfy your heart, you yourself, that you've done your best. That's all I require from you. And I promise you, your best will always be enough. And so we've always worked with that principle. I'm not on them to, just do your best and it will be enough. So exam pressure, it's a huge thing for our young people. A situation where they box themselves into a corner thinking, oh my goodness, if I don't make this exam, I'm finished. It puts a lot of pressure on our young people. So as a parent, please don't contribute to the pressure. Encourage them to do their best and leave it at that. Really important to speak up your children, to big them up. I tell my children, this exam is nothing. You can do it. You've got this. You've got this. Even today, as I was dropping her, she was already feeling like trying to get a bit worried and anxious. And I said to her, don't worry. Honestly, you've got this. It's sorted. It's sorted. So we have to big up our children. We have to let them know they're able to, they're well able, and that we trust them, that we believe in their skills. I've spoken so much to my daughter, trying to big her up, to let her know it's just you've got this. You've been studying. You've been studying. You've got this. I promise you, it's going to be easy for you. So we have to speak up our children, give them confidence, and encourage them to eat healthy during exam period. I say to my daughter, just go for a walk. You've studied enough. Go out, go for a walk, get some fresh air. Okay, come and eat. You know, I don't because young people they take things too much to heart. For them, everything is life or death. If I don't get this exam, I'm finished. If I don't, we have to help them to limit their emotion and anxiety around exam times. Honestly, the amount of young people who just go crazy with the exams. I say to my daughter, if you're feeling this way, you can't really focus. I promise you, you can't focus if you're so worked up and worried. If you start feeling that you're anxious, then just stop, close your books, go and put on Netflix, go and watch him or something. Call your friends, just with them. Okay, let me take you people out. Bring your 5 friends. Let me take you people somewhere to have a meal. Because honestly, when you're feeling so anxious, I promise you what you're reading is not even entering. It's not entering. Just stop. Oh, stop at that point and go and do something else. And then come back to your studies fresh. So as a parent, don't push your kids. Don't make your kids feel that the exam is life or death because they take it seriously. When you say things like that, it affects them. it puts them under a lot of pressure. I don't want to pressurize my kids. I want them to be able to, but I speak to them. I let them know I trust them. I let them know that I believe they're able to do things. So what do you say to your kids? Give them words of affirmation. Tell them you're able to. I tell my daughter, when you start feeling anxious, remember, start telling yourself, I'm well able, I can do this thing. God is with me. I've got the Spirit of God. So children must be able to do this no matter their age, because life will make them feel that life will hit at them. We have to prepare our children for life. We have to let them know. Oh my goodness. I see some people. Pink man. Thank you. Hello, hello. Back to you, Navin. Hi, Navin. Nice to see you. Pierre Hestron. Hello. Thank you for joining my live. Ali. Ali, you're here. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just jumped on board to talk about exam pressure because I just dropped my daughter at where she's going to have an exam. By 10 a.m., she'll be doing the exam. And I just saw how anxious and worried she has been over the past few weeks. And I'm like, this exam is one exam out of your whole life. Honestly, you've got this. Take it easy. Don't worry. But I know where she's coming from. I remember once I once failed one exam and I got back home, I was crying. I was saying to my dad, I failed. I was just crying. I'll never forget. My dad started laughing. He was actually laughing. Hi, Daisy. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I said to my dad, I was crying. I failed this exam. I failed. My dad just started laughing. And I was like, why are you laughing? I'm serious. I was so hurt that I had failed this exam. And then he was laughing. And my dad said to me, you're crying because you've always passed exams. It's good you failed this exam. So you know that life, sometimes you can fail in life. And it's not the end of the world. That's what my dad said to me. He was just laughing. He said, it's not the end of the world. When you fail an exam, just tell yourself it's just one of those things. Go and practice, go and do it again. I know people who have done their driving tests like 9 times. I know a lady who did her driving test and passed it at the ninth attempt. So when you fail an exam, don't let it affect you, okay, or make you feel you're a failure. It just means you need to work harder. Hello, Daisy. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much. It's lovely to see everyone. Hope you're great where you are. So it's all about exam pressure. I had a lady come to see me in the clinic. She's raving mad, as in she's crazy. She's doing her PhD. Honestly, I don't even understand people who do PhD. They're on another level altogether. All of you doing, are you doing PhD? Let me know in the chat if you're doing a PhD. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. I admire such people. I think they are fantastic. I think they are great, but it's just not for me. PhD. Eh. So this lady came to see me. She's doing a PhD. The thing has stressed her so much. She is so stressed. She's going out of her head to the extent that she's not eating the roof. And I said to her, it's not a do or die thing. You chose to do a PhD. So please take care of yourself. You've got to eat, you've got to drink, make sure you keep of fluid. Go out for exercise. She's always in the library studying, you know, it's almost like she can't spare 2 minutes away from her studies. And I'm like, this is just one part of your life. Don't take you all over. Please make time to look after yourself. You don't want to get the PhD and then find that you've damaged your health. So if you're doing PhD here, please look after yourself. And if your child is doing an exam, please encourage them and be kind to them. Don't put your own pressure. Exam is already a huge pressure for a lot of our young people. Don't contribute to it as a parent. Give them some leeway. I've sort of let my daughter do things her own way this period of exam because I don't want to add stress to her. So I can't wait for her to finish. She's in the exam hall now. Let her just finish so that we'll stop hearing, oh, don't bother me, I have exam. It's so funny that even when we speak in the house, she's like, you people should stop making noise. Stop making noise. Don't you understand? I have exam. I'm doing this test. I'm like, so we should not speak again because you have exam. Okay, I'll just leave you. you know? So we have to give them that leeway. And I say to her, take it easy. Your best will be enough. Even this morning, she's still feeling like I haven't read enough. I said, you've been reading for the past 2 months. You've been studying for this exam. Of course, you're ready. And I spoke to her, tried to let her gain confidence. Yes, Beatneck is saying back in the UK, Beatneck, thank you for joining. He said, back in the UK, I have read of young adults who have committed suicide because they had received C's instead of A plus. Setbacks are a way of life. It's disturbing to see people paralyzed. Honestly, you just got it right, Beatneck. Why would a young person commit suicide? What? Because they got C's instead of A's. What is the world turning to? It makes me feel we're failing our young people, to be honest. I feel we're not teaching them resilience. Our young people are not resilient. So that one setback makes them feel like it's the end of the world. So parents, we have to get back to the drawing board. We have to equip our children, help them to be more resilient. You can't think about taking your life because you got C in your exam. What's that even about? So if you feel like that and you grow into an adult and maybe you have a pregnancy loss, maybe you're pregnant and you lose a pregnancy, will you then go and commit suicide? If you're thinking of suicide because you got a C in your exam, hey, we have work to do. We have work to do for our young people. We have to equip them to be more resilient. We can't have them suicide for what? For what now? There's more to life. There's more to life than that, honestly. Young people, there's more to your life than one little setback or the other. I know as a child, a setback can seem like a big thing. I know that's how it was for me when I failed this exam I was talking about. I was crying, and my father was like laughing. He's like, welcome to life. Welcome to adulthood. You're crying because you've always passed exam. You don't know people fail exam, Abby. And he spoke to me and encouraged me and said, you just go and book and do it again. That's life. It's fine. You'll get it next time. And I did. So that's what we need to do for our young people, to let them know there's more to life than little setbacks. A society where we hear about young people committing suicide because of exam is a society that has failed their children. We have failed as parents, and we have to do better. We have to let our children build resilience. How can we get them to build resilience? Please type into the chat, how are you building resilience into the life of your child? Knowing that in life they will face difficulties, they will face hard times. How are you building resilience in the life of your child? And one way I can think of is to stop, affirm them. We have to affirm our children. We have to praise them. When they get things right, we praise, a lot of praise. Someone said that for one negative word you say to a child, you have to speak 10 positive words to mend that negative word. So the ratio is 1 to 10. That means if a child does something good, we have to praise them 10 times to build their confidence and their resilience. Okay? And the other thing is, when the other way I can think of is if they do things and they don't get things right, we have to not beat them down too badly. Okay? Children make mistakes. Children do stuff. My daughter made a decision and I said to her, this is not the right decision, you know. But she was bent on doing it that way. She was like, this is, so she didn't do it the way I wanted. Later on, she came back to say, oh, she was crying. She said she should have done it. I said, but I told you. I told you. Okay, so maybe next time you listen to me. So we have to let them make their mistakes. But then, when we're then reviewing it, we don't beat them down too much. So I said to her, and you remember I told you, but you insisted on doing it in this way. But okay, don't worry. At least now you've learned from that. And I didn't keep emphasizing. I just, just a brief correction. You remember I told you you've done it wrongly now, but it's okay. Now you've learned from it. Don't worry. Next time you'll be fine. So not beating them down too badly when they make mistakes. Sometimes life is about making the mistakes. Some of us never learned until we made a mistake. Your mistakes will teach you. Your mistakes will will humble you. So sometimes we have to let them make those mistakes so they get humble. And next time they will do better. Next time they will take correction on board. Okay? So don't beat them too badly when they make mistakes. Understand that mistakes are part of growth. It's part of growing up in life. It's just the way it is, even for us adults. Okay? So the other thing I can think of is not to be I use humor a lot with my kids. Sometimes they do things and I'm not happy with what they've done. I can correct them and then laugh a bit. I don't want them to feel I'm continuously angry with them. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't want them to feel, I want them to know I'm on their side. I will scold. You have to scold if you're a parent. There's just no way around it. So I do scold. And I say to my children, I am it is my duty to parent you. I want to be your friend, but I'm a parent first and foremost. I'm anointed to parent you. So I will be a parent, I will correct. But I am quick to go into humor. Does that make sense? I'm quick to laugh with them. I'm quick to then get over that episode and laugh. As in the next moment, I'm happy to give them a huge hug and laugh over things. Okay? I don't hold resentment against my kids. I don't have whole days when I go and I'm not speaking to them in their corner. They need you to be their advocate, their friend, the one that will accept them no matter what. So I try to do that for my kids. Yeah. Because outside the home, there's a lot of battle going on. In school, your kids are they may be facing bullying, you know, out there in the society, especially if they're black or African or where they are, for example, there are lots more whites, for example. They may be going through all that challenge outside. You don't want them to come into the home and they're still feeling a lot of pressure and challenge. Where would they then be happy? Where would they then be relaxed? Where? Okay, so I try to make sure that in the home they have that happiness, that joy. I'm an advocate for them. Okay, and if you've done your best as a parent and the child doesn't still turn out right, please don't beat yourself up. Just you do your own best. Always do your best and satisfy your conscience that you've done your best. And keep learning. I've had to keep learning, parenting, learning different things, upgrading my learning. Don't ever feel you've learnt it all. Or your child is saying something and you're like, me, like they're implying you don't know something. Maybe you need to learn something. Okay, so having that understanding that sometimes we don't know it all. The fact that you're a parent, you're 50 years old, doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about parenting. It's an ongoing journey, and each child is different. I have 3 kids, and I can tell you my 3 children are different. They are the ones you will call and they're like, hello, mommy, hello, how are you, mommy? They're excited to hear from you. They're the ones you call and they're like, hello, mommy, I'm in the middle of something. It's almost like you're interrupting their lives. They're so different. Children are so different. So it's following each child, understanding their personality and working with it. That is it. You as a parent, learning, continuously learning. We don't know it all. Be open to learning. I read books on parenting. There are situations that come up. I'm like, hey, It shows something about disconnection. I hope you're still seeing me. Okay, Big Net, I can see your comment. You said, how many millionaires talk openly about endless business failings because they got it right? Absolutely. There's nothing shameful in a child falling off his bike. You are right. We have to get our children to understand that failure is a necessary part of life. It's just how you learn. Okay. So I was saying that she didn't want to go and start school. She wanted to do the exam first. So I'm like, no, I think you better go and start school. If you don't go and start on first day of school, you might feel like you've lost a lot. When you do go back to school, you might feel lost, sort of, because you didn't start from the beginning. But she was like, no, she wants to stay home and practice and study and this. So I want to say you must go, and then saying and all that and all. So it's finding a way to manage these situations. Okay, so I actually sought for advice. I mean, my first child is 23, so I've been. I don't know if it's con. I hope you can still see me. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section, because it showed they noticed that it's reconnecting. So I don't know why it's reconnecting. Anyway, I hope you can still hear me. Anyway, so my friend gave me the advice. She said, why don't you call the school and speak to the exam counselor and say, this is what the child is saying. What do they advise? So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I actually phoned the school and I said, they put me through to whoever was in charge. And I said, look, my child has her exam on today, so she doesn't want to start school until she's done the exam. She feels she wants to focus on the exam and get it done before going into school. What do you suggest? What do you think? You can seek advice. Don't ever feel you know it all. So the woman was like, oh, okay, fine. I'm sure we can work out something. Let me speak to her. So I actually got her to speak to my child. And they agreed on something. You can come this day. You don't have to come this day. Come this day. Come in this time. There were options. Options. That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't a white or black thing. You must come to school or you must not. They worked out something, which I thought was great. You see, that's the importance of seeking advice and not thinking you know it all, or not forcing your child to do it your own way. I could have said to her, you have to go. I don't care. You have to go and start school. Or I would have said, okay, don't go when you finish it. You can seek advice. So I got good counsel from that lady. And she agreed with my daughter, okay, you can come in this time, then this time you don't need to come in. And so it worked out perfectly. It worked out perfectly. The importance of seeking advice and not thinking you know it all. Hello, Daisy. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining. Thank you. We're talking about exam pressures on our kids and how we have to support them as parents. Okay, so I hope this has been useful. I've dropped her off. Let's wish her well. Hopefully, she gets the score she needs and everything goes well. All right. If you're a parent and you found this useful, please let me know. Type in the chat. Let me know this has been useful to you. And if you're building resilience in your children, let me know how you're doing it. We can learn from each other. Like I said, parenting is continuous learning. Okay. So until I see you again, God bless. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.